work behind this.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Come fai a vederlo, John?
Good afternoon, everyone. Buonasera a tutti. Welcome. I'm Tiziana Cervesato. I have the pleasure to be the executive director of the Italian Film Festival of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And it's a pleasure to welcome you all here with us for the discussion of our US premiere, Spaccapietre, Una promessa. We're very excited to have the opportunity to discuss this movie with their directors, Gianluca and Massimiliano De Serio, together with our artistic director, Tommaso Cammarano. And just for you, so for technically, you are currently all muted, but you will all have a chance to unmute and ask your questions. And please feel free from the beginning to type your questions directly in the chat. Before we start, I would like to say again, thank you to everyone who has made this film festival possible. It is organized by the Italian Cultural Center of Minneapolis, St. Paul, in collaboration with our great partner, the Film Society of Minneapolis, St. Paul. I would also like to say thank you to all our sponsors, and in particular, NOC Inc., as well as the Istituto Italiano di Cultura of Chicago and Luigi Bernardi and Arcadia. Before I give the floor to Tommaso and to our special guests here today, I will read Gianluca and Massimiliano De Serio's bio. So Gianluca and Massimiliano De Serio are twins born in Torino. They have been working together since 1999 and are considered among the most up-and-coming new talents of Italian cinema. In August of 2011, Seven Works of Mercy, their first feature film, won the Youth Jury Prize and the Don Quixote Prize at the International Locarno Film Festival competition. The film then went on to participate in 80 festivals and win 27 awards. In 2015, they directed the documentary River Memories, which premiered at the 2015 Venice International Film Festival and was screened at more than 25 festivals. So it is now my great honor to give the word to Tommaso Cammarano, our artistic director, and welcome again our two guests. Enjoy the presentation.
Thank you, Tiziana. And it's my great honor to welcome all of you to our discussion this afternoon, and especially my super great honor to welcome our two guests, the two brothers De Serio, Massimiliano, or shall I go with Massi? I'm gonna go Massi. It says Massi. We're gonna go with Massi.
Why not?
Massi De Serio and his brother Gianluca.
Hello.
Welcome to both of you. Before we go any further, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, this afternoon. It's an honor to have you. It's an honor especially to have so many of you and so many of us who are here to discuss a film that is certainly not the easiest movie to watch or to participate in. And so this makes us even happier that we're all here together. And so thank you. If you're new to the festival, thank you and welcome to the festival for your first time. If you've been one of the friends and supporters of the festival for the last 12 editions, it's so good to be with you. It's especially good to be together at a time in a year in which this is when we get to be together. This is the moment we have during the festival to see our faces, so feel free to keep your camera on. It's the moment in which we have to ask questions and to feel the community that we are. With all that said, I want to say about our two guests that those of you who are familiar with film already know, but those of you who are not familiar with film, I want you to understand to have a movie, and every movie that comes out of yours goes either to Locarno or to the Venice Film Festival. This gentleman have been to Venice at least twice, if not more. How many times? Twice or three times? Twice.
In Venice twice, yeah.
Twice.
In Locarno, how many times? Once, I know,
One.
once. And to
Once.
be, and Venice and Locarno are among the most important film festivals in the world. So to have a movie come out and it either goes to one of these festivals where it's very difficult to get in, says a lot about the talent of our guests, the guests that are here with us tonight. And I also want to say something about their generosity, because it's 11 p.m. in Italy. When I invited them, I thought, you know, they're very young. And so they're going to be the ones that I'm going to put at 11 p.m. because I do not, some reason, because I don't have a direct family, I don't think that people have families and kids when they're very young. So I want to thank them for being here at 11 p.m. while their families are sleeping and they had to find dark rooms where they could be with us while they're without disturbing the kids. Thank you so much. And we're really honored, and we're super honored to host the first screening of this film in the US. It means a lot to us to be able to claim that. And we do, very proudly so. I will probably go into my first question, which is, because this is the first time screening in the US, and because all of us have discovered you just by this film, could you tell us a little bit about what you've made before this film? Where do you come? Where do you? I know that you're from Torino. I know that today one of you, Gianluca, is joining us from Calabria, and Massimiliano Massi, you're in Torino. But in general, where are you from, and what have you done before this film to make you understand to make us understand what film is to you? What has interested you in film? Where do you come from when you? What is your approach to film? What's important to you? Through your work, help us explain your evolution.
Okay, Tommaso, I go, Massimo, you go. It's the
Please.
same. Okay. Thank you, Tiziana, and thank you, Tommaso, for inviting us and also for this wonderful introduction. And we are really honored to be a part of this program and to be with you tonight, because here, as you said before, is night. But no problem. We are young, even if you are not so young, we are, I mean, still strong. Okay, about our journey in the cinema contest. We live in Torino, in Turin, this, I say, post-industrial city of the north of Torino, of Italy. And we are twins, so we know each other, I mean, very well. And we started to work together since 1999, more or less. And we started like most of the people that want to be a director. We started to do documentaries or short films or short documentaries mixed with the fiction. In that period, we experimented a lot with these two different formats, but for us was always a way to create a kind of bridge with the reality around us. So we started to make films about people that we met in our everyday life. And then this group of short movies, with these movies, we traveled a lot around the festival around the world, and we knew different kind of contemporary way to filmmake, so to make films. And so we decided to go on and to push our research to a more long length, and we did our first feature film for theater, for cinema, that is called Seven Works of Mercy, that was released in Locarno Film Festival, as you said before, in 2011. And then we did also different documentaries, not only in Italy. The River Memories, the title that you said before, it's a movie that tells a story of community that was used to live in a shanty town along a river in our hometown, Torino. And we follow the life of this community during the last 2 years of existence, because these Rome people, gypsies, this community were destroyed by the mayor of the city at the time and the police, and they were transferred in different kind of situations, different houses, and also they come back to Romania, and so on. We followed them in this very dramatical period of their life. Then we did other documentaries in Albania, in Tirana, and also in Africa, in Burkina Faso. So at the end, we are here with the Spaccapietre, Una Promessa, that it's a movie that tells another story, but it's always a kind, a sort of meditation about contemporary society and some holes of this society that surround us. Massi, I don't know.
Yeah, I can say just something more about. Well, first of all, thanks also by my part, because it's really, we are really glad to be in this contest for the first screening of our movie in the United States. So thanks to inviting us, and it's a pity that we can't come there to meet physically all of you.
We're just as sad. We are just as sad, yes.
Because it's a very complicated situation, but you know, as us, that it's difficult. So maybe it's better like this year, and maybe the next film with pleasure. Anyway, we were always interested by. My brother say that we met people and we decided to make film from this everyday life meeting. And so we always would like describe personal experience, personal meeting with someone, but also some kind of communities that are not in the center of the urban and social life around us, always on the side, away of the spot. I mean, in the public life. So, for example, also Spaccapietre is a point of I mean, of this meeting between something of very root deep inside our familiar life, but also tentative of a portrait of a community as the workers of the countryside is. You know, the community of this sort of ghost that used to work in our countryside, that we can't see, that we don't know, maybe that we don't want to see. So documentaries and feature film are always one link to the other, And in the same time, we also try to make a journey inside the reality to make inspiration for our feature film.
Thank you, Massimiliano. And what I would add, it's one of the reasons why we knew that we really were hoping that you would accept our invitation to the festival this year. It's because yours, it's among very few films of our festival in which, you know, we are discussing themes and realities and problems that don't get discussed enough. As you say, they're ghosts. Even in Italy, we try to put them aside, and we thought it was very important to, if we have to talk about Italy, that we talk about what Spaccapietre is about. So that was also one of, it was among our deciding factors, aside from the fact of the artistic value of your work, which is super. I would say maybe you've touched upon it, Massimiliano, and because I'm sure your film. So I will ask more of another question on how Spaccapietre happened, how long you worked on it, how it got produced, how difficult it was to produce a project like that. Was it difficult? And how long it took from the first time you thought of doing that to the finished film? And if you can also touch upon why you said that it's in the roots of your family. What about it is in the roots of your family?
Okay, yeah. First of all, our family is often inside our projects. In this case, our grandmother, our father's mother, was a worker in a countryside in the 50s in the south of Italy, and she died during her work, her job. She was pregnant of two children, so two twins as us, that they were never were born because she died and they died too. So this fact was always something that our father, our uncle always told us as a familiar story, but also kind of a mythological story. And we never met our grandmother because when she died in the 58, our father was 10. So then our grandfather moved to Torino with his 5 sons and start to work in a Fiat factory. After a long period, after 70 years, we read in the newspaper that a woman of 42 years died in the same condition, but some years ago, 2015. So we say it's incredible as time never changed. The condition of workers are always the same, even worse than before. And in the same area, a young woman died in the same condition. So when we read this tragical fact, we decided to start to write Spaccapietre, that it's something different, but it's also a way for us to make a portrait of our grandmother and of all our grandmother who died in our landscape, in our families, I mean, as Italians, not only of the south of Italy, because, for example, the shanty town where people used to live are also here, not far from Torino. there are thousands of seasonal workers who come from Africa or Eastern Europe that used to come for some months in Piemonte, in our region, to work in a landscape, and they live in a shanty town. Nobody knows them. They have no identity, they have no families. So Spaccapietre come from our family for this fact. Also the idea to give our grandmother, also to all the desaparecidos, disappeared people in our society, we tried also to give an image, a face. So you saw at the end of the film that the face is very important for us, and it's very important for the son of this film, Anton. And so it was not so long to collect money to make this film. I mean, it was long because we are not, we are nobody in cinema contest. So, but anyway, we have time to make our research, to read a lot of contemporary books about this problem. For example, there is an important, very young journalist who wrote several books about this problem of caporalato. We call it caporalato. That is the name to call this system of exploitation by the owner of the land and against the workers. That it's Leo Grande. He died very young, 40 years, and he wrote several books that are research inside the problem of caporalato. We went into the shanty town, into the countryside where the people live and work today, and we met several of them. A part of them also entered into the film as actors of the film. So it was maybe 4 years to write the film and collect the money and finally to shoot it, more or less. What else? What did you ask me, Tommaso?
Oh, that you've answered so much.
Okay.
I mean, it might not sound a lot to you, but 4 years, it's a lot of, I mean, it goes even more to how much you believed and really wanted to make this project come to life, because it's a lot of time to be dedicated to a project for, you know, so
Yeah.
Congratulations. You might be used to it, but I mean, it's a lot of time, so congratulations.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, it's true that cinema in life for us is always a mixture that we can't really define the first day that we start to think about a film and the last date when we finish it. We also, as my brother said, we are twins. As your towns, Minneapolis and St. Paul, we are twins, but we are not live together. So as we are colleagues, I mean, but also twins, we tried to ask. We try to ask us, you know, the reason of why we are working together since we are very young. And so we, some years ago in 2013, we made a film where we put 5 cameras on us and 3 doctors, hypnotists, come si dice ipnotisti?
Hypnotists?
Hypnotists, yes.
I don't know.
Hypnotists.
I'm asking for help to some American. I don't know. Hypnotists.
Yes, hypnotists. The expert of regression. They
childhood regression.
Childhood regression. So we through this hypnosis, we in this film we go down into a state of where we were inside our mother,
Womb.
womb. Yes. So, and we start to talk as we were inside our mother womb. So this is a scientific experimental, but also a film. And maybe thanks to this film, we understood something about ourselves. So it's difficult to describe the time, because cinema is made by time, but also life is made by time. And our life as twins is a really strange situation.
Thank you. Gianluca, do you want to say something or not?
No, no, it's okay. I almost agree.
I know it must be.
There are some other questions.
I was just saying, it must be interesting to be stuck with each other so much, you know? So, I mean, there's got to be, in a good way, you know? So I just want to comment on something you said, that for me personally, I got the goosebumps when you were saying it. Goosebumps, I don't remember how to translate, la pelle d'oca, about to understand how deep, you know, how deep in the roots of your family was, you know, to know that your grandmother died in the fields and that she was pregnant of two kids that weren't born. And then here you are, the two of you, two twins, doing this together also to honor her. I mean, it really touched me. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. It just shed a whole new light to the film, a beautiful light. I would like, because you've said, it's great to have you as guests because you talk a lot, so I don't have to ask too many questions, which is wonderful and so welcomed. I would say, I would already start asking, and I see that there's a question, great. Martin, even if you, and we'll answer Martin's question, but even if you don't have questions, this is a chance for Gianluca and Massimiliano to hear what you thought about their film, what you felt, you know, so just please, even just feedback, let them know. It's the first time it gets in this big country. So I know they would appreciate that too. I will, Martin, would you like to ask your own question? Would you like to do it? I see you on video. You can unmute and ask the question.
Okay, sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking my question here. So my question is, has there been any more action taken in Italy now about these types of, you know, ghost issues that people don't want to talk about? Since your film has been released, what's happening to improve the situation for migrant workers now to lessen or eliminate this type of exploitation? To me, it seems like a very entrenched problem. So.
Thank you,
Yes,
Martin.
it is. Thank you, Martin. Yes, it's a problem that it's very difficult to, I mean, unroot, how do you say, to put off, you know, because it's very old. I mean, it's something that is linked to our organization of work, okay? And also it's a problem of mentality. I mean, it's a cultural problem. People has to change the way to approach, for example, to the consumerism, for example, to buy, the way to buy product in the supermarket that comes from this illegal exploitation and immoral exploitation. So it's very difficult. Something is, I mean, there were some rules that come out in these last years. In particular, the previous, the last government made a new rule about to fight against some owners that use this kind of relationship with the workers. But the problem is that this rule is not really adopted by the regions, okay? So there is a problem of application of the rule. And also it's a rule that it's not, it's a law that it's not very large, it's very specific. So this problem comes out from different little and different situation in all over the country, not only in the south, but for example also in our region, that it's in the north. But I know that I mean, we know that we met a lot of people, organization, association that are doing a very deep and strong work with the workers, with the, for example, with the unions, to create a kind of awareness in the workers to rise up and understand how to fight this exploitation from the bottom up, no? From the low side, not from the top. So there is a movement. Also, there is a changement in the mentality of some little villages in the south. But it's not enough, because it's something that needs time, I guess. And it's not only an Italian problem. You know, there are a lot of countries in Europe, for example, in Spain, in France, also in the north of Europe, in the rich North Europe, there are situations like this for the seasonal workers. Linda, maybe Linda has a question.
Thank you, Gianluca. Is there, oh, Linda. Linda, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Well, I was commenting, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was commenting on just how horrifyingly moving, and you felt the darkness, the fear, if you became part of that experience. And oh my goodness. And yet there was always at least small moments of hope, and the relationship with the mother, both living and deceased, and the father and the son. So to put those things together, and whether at the end the boy runs and is captured, runs and escapes and becomes the one of the twins who survive, you know, to it's just very, I loved it. And I don't want to say I love the film because it's so painful, but
those of us who have seen, yeah, we understand what you mean, Linda.
So thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. Today I was at lunch with a friend. She told me that she was at cinema to watch the movie last September here in Italy with her son. Her son is 4 years old. So until the end, they stay quiet into the cinema, watching the movie from the beginning. But at the end, when the violence grows up, she tried to put off the son, to say, no, please go, let's go away. But the son wanted to stay to see the violence. But at the end, they went away from the cinema. They didn't see the last part of the movie. I mean, the running, the last sequence. And so she asked me how the film ends. And I say to her, okay, tell me, how, for you, what will happen at the end of the film? And she told me, I went away because I was sure that at the end, the father and the son will die. And when I told her that at the end the son find again her mother in some way, and I described her the scene with all the movements and the words and everything, she told me, I told you, at the end it's a kind of death. They are all dead. And she started to cry. Well, it was very touching for me to see someone crying, thinking about a possible end of our movie. I mean, it's for us a movie is always a mixture of it's a journey. It's not something that you have from the beginning at the end. There's something of sure. No, it's a discovering of the feelings. So we like this mixture of hope and tragedy in the same time. And it's I mean, us as a public, single public, we can really give an end of our movie. Different, each of us different of the others, I think. Sorry for my bad English, Tommaso. And
I think it's your English is fine and we understand everything you say. Pieranna, did you have your hands up? Did you have your hand up? Okay.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe something you already have mentioned, but I would like to hear a tiny bit more, if you can, about it. As I think it was Gianluca who said that it's not just in Italy, it's not just in the south of Italy, it's not only in Italy. And certainly I think the issue of exploitation of seasonal workers is a problem and is very close to Americans as well. So we're happy that we saw the movie, but I wonder if there are plans of being able to show your movie in other countries in Europe, if you have reached out to other directors who might have done similar work in their countries, addressing the same set of issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Pieranna. We had the possibility to show the movie in France, where it was released in October for only 2 weeks, because then the lockdown arrived and closed everything. And also in Belgium, in a festival in Belgium, and in Germany, in another festival in Germany, and in other festival around Europe. But I know that in France, in the screenings, in some screenings where part of the troupe were there to meet the people, the debate after the movie was very strong and participated, because they said, and I discovered after this period, that they said that in France there are some regions where this happen every day. For example, close to Italy, in Savoia, it's a little region very close to Italy. A lot of workers from other countries come every year in fall to work in the grapes for the wine. And someone has died also during this war, and they have paid very low, like in Italy. And there are some movement, some group association that are organizing something to fight this. So I think that the problem has to be held by European organization, not only single countries. Okay, that's my opinion. I mean, when we were in the south of Italy to make our inspection for the movie, we met a lot of people, and we went in the shanty town, and we saw very close the situation and the life situation of these people, and it's something that it's unbelievable to imagine, because it's like to enter in another planet. I don't know. And very close to the seaside, to the holiday seaside locations, you know, very beautiful. And after 300 or 400 meters, there is the hell. I mean, there are no rights, no minimum of the things that we have to have for survive, okay, to survive. So it's also this kind of very, very closeness, no, between normal life and this life. It's the problem, because nobody wants to see, nobody wants to see what happens. It's a problem of wish for me.
Thank you. Oh, Carolyn has a question.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about that I thought was really unusual in a movie dealing with such a hard topic, and unusual in movies that I've seen with maybe similar topics, is the extraordinary love within that family. And I thought that the portrayal of the relationship between the father and the child, and the relationship with the mother before she died and then after her death, was one of the most profound and beautiful and moving expressions of familial love that I've ever seen in anything. And I'm wondering, and I feel in similar movies or documentaries or coverage of whatever, that because of the amazing stress and horror that's going on, that parents are often reduced to, hitting their kids and say, don't go over there, stay here, and, yelling at them because they are in danger. And in this movie, it was so moving that love persisted. And I'm wondering if you could speak to that, if you think that is culturally representative of Italy, if this is a unique situation, and if this comes out of your own personal family's profound love. But in conclusion, I want to say again, I think that was, it's going to make me cry. I think it was the most gorgeous portrayal of family love I've ever seen in anything, written or visualized.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn. What can I say? When we started to write the film, we thought a lot about this big question of love, no? What is love in a family, from between a father and a son, between father and son, and the mother that we can see, because in the movie you can see her for some moments at the beginning and then she disappeared. So we thought about love in this three person a lot, and at the end we said we don't want the normal script writing process of the conflict between the protagonist. We want something very as a stone, something very clear. We want a sort of unique body that has something that is a sort of handicap in a moment, because the mother goes away. So this body with a black hole inside him. He tried to be strong against the violence, against the death itself, until the end, across the end. So so we asked, how can we describe this sort of storm between father and son? And we thought about the photography, how we can shoot these two bodies. So the format of the film is unusual. Maybe now that's 1:66. That is a format that they can give an image of the landscape, but as a sort of prison of two bodies, and we can see the two bodies always together. The boy is very is not tall and is thin, and the father is big. So how can we put them together with this format? And so also the type of plants, everything. Without any kind of moment of conflict, we can bring them until the end together, no? Because we wanted to make this image of love, as you say. What else?
I want to add just a thing that, Caroline, you know that also in this writing process, when we were wondering about this relationship between the two, we said, okay, in the face of this exaggerated violence that they meet in the second part of the movie, and in the face of this very big tragedy in their life, maybe we needed a huge amount of love. No, more is the violence, more you have to be the contrary. So you know, movies, it's always an issue of conflicts, no, the narration, I mean. So in this case, we found in this love the right also the impossible way, but utopistical way to fight this violence. But only in the cinema, this utopia, utopy, I don't know in English, but this utopistical world can be, can be real. That's why you believe that the mother is coming back at the end. You believe because you are, you are in another level of the speech. You are not in the reality. You are inside the heart and the soul of this little boy.
There is another thing that we choose. For example, the evil in the film, the owner, and all the caporali, the others, they are the giants, very big. We choose some actors that are really, very also very strong. Come si dice, dei tratti molto forti.
Strong features.
Strong features, in the face, in the body. They were 1.90 tall, and so there is, as my brother said, there is another dimension of the story that is not only to denounce the violence, etc., but it's also a sort of fairy tale of this guy looking for her mother. So we needed a strong. Our family, yes, it's a normal Italian family. We don't have really a inspiration by our family because it's a lot of family with a lot of uncles, a lot of sons. There are conflicts. There are some problems of everyday life, also with our parents. Maybe also because we like, but it's always difficult to be a real lover in the everyday life. I don't know. I think that it's more simple in a film than in a real life.
Thank you.
I like the film d'amore. I like the film d'amore a lot.
Christine, I see your question on the chat. It seems like a very complex question. Is it okay if I leave it just for a little bit from now? I'm gonna ask, we're gonna answer it, okay? It just seems like it's a question that could open up a lot of, so I'm just gonna see if there's more like specifically on the film itself and on it, and then we'll go to that bigger topic, okay? Linda, do you have a question? Linda with your raised hand next to her husband. Yes, you.
Hello, I have a comment and then a question. The comment is that the film seems to me a lot like a kind of modern day Grapes of Wrath, and in that tradition. And then my question is about the promise, where the father fairly early in the movie promises his son that the mother will return, which seems like kind of a audacious or foolhardy sort of promise to make. So can you comment a little bit on your using that device of the promise?
We can't.
Yeah, sorry. About the comment, yes, you say this masterpiece of John Steinbeck. We read it, some years ago when we were younger, and we reread it now during the preparation of the movie. It was a kind of inspiration for the condition of life and also for the narration. It's a kind of epic in the landscape. So it was not only this book, but in general, all this literature that talks about this topic. But this book in particular is a reference. And about the promise, I don't know if I got the question. Tommaso, maybe you can translate because I didn't hear very much.
We can ask Tim. Could you repeat it, Tim, please? Thank you.
I was curious about your use of the promise, because it seems like early on when you hear it, it's like he's promising something he can't deliver. So what was your thinking about using that promise in the movie?
The promise is our escamotage is our trick to go to the end. I mean, to go to the end with another dimension, with another hope that it's more, inner, it's in the soul of the child, and it goes through this impossible ending. So I think that the promise is something that it's, of course it's impossible. And also it's important because create a new relationship between the father and the son. It's something that pushed them to look for something else in the reality they meet in the countryside. So because this, for us, this child journey is a journey of awareness, okay? And it's a journey of awareness that had to be, in our intention, had to be a journey of the gates, first of all, to change the way to look to the reality.
Excuse me, John, also for the father.
Also for the father.
Maybe most of all for the father.
Yes, you remember the father is blind for one eye. So he needs to change the way to look So this journey, it's a political journey because they are, I mean, it's a journey of awareness, but at the same time, it's a spiritual journey because they, I mean, it's like Orfeo, you know, the Orfeo journey in the dark side, you know, and to take back the lover, in this case, to take back the mother. I don't know if I answered.
Thank you. I would say you are the last talk for the day, so we can go a little longer. Do you guys? It's late in Italy, so you know I want to respect that. We've been here for an hour, and it's midnight there. So do we have another 5 or 10 minutes or not? You guys, I mean, we have them. We'd be happy. Okay, thank you. We appreciate it. So because everybody's been bringing up, you know, the love of the father for the son, something that I've noticed from the very beginning is that the movie is very tactile in a way. I mean, touching embodies and being with one another, touching each other always between father and son. It's a very important part of this movie. So we haven't discussed it. I think it would be interesting to talk about how working with the two of them, and how was the process of having the two of them work so amazingly together? Or was that just natural and it happened because they're two great actors and it just happened?
Yeah, for us, they were two great great actors. When we met the young Samuele, he's called Samuele Carrino, the actor. We met several children. I mean, maybe 200, maybe more in Puglia. But when we met him, we called him again to meet him again. And the fourth time we said, okay, you are really natural, and also without any kind of problem of memory. He remembered everything without any kind of repetition or something like that. So I think that he is a natural actor. Maybe he will need more practice in the future, but we never made again a scene or a moment of the film because of him. And the Salvatore Esposito, the father, when we thought about the main actor of the film, we suddenly thought about him because of his physical characteristic, the body and the face, but also because we knew him through the Gomorrah series. Maybe you know also, and we always thought that he is a very come si dice, versatile. He's an actor who can change a lot of kind of, and also he's quite American in the style. He's something that maybe because of his school, acting school, or his reference. Anyway, he has an interior way to act that is far from the Italian actor, and we really loved this kind of make the characters. And so we met him, and when he read the script, and he called us saying, oh, I really love the script, and I'd like to meet you. And so we suddenly have a complicity. And then when we let them to meet each other, we had the image of the father and the son at the same time when they were together. So we never make a repetition of the script, of the dialogues. We also improvise a lot.
Improvised
Improvised with the actors before shooting the scene, we talk about the dialogues with them, and they found suddenly a way to make it a little bit different from the script, that it was more natural. And we like this kind because the shooting of the film was very, very speed, very fast. We had no time to make nothing, and so also the style of the film is always also in the still image is in movement. There is a kind of vibration in the sequences of the film that we decide with the DOP, but also thanks to this fast preparation of the scenes by the actors. So thanks them, really, they were great for us.
Thank you. Gianluca, you are good, or you want to say something?
No, it's okay.
Okay, then I will go back. Thank you. I will go back to the question that I postponed from Christine. So Christine's, first of all, let me share, Anna has shared an article that she says, there is a company founded by migrants in Puglia who started their own farm after years of exploitation from landowners. Their products are now sold in co-ops all over Italy. So maybe that's an article we can all check out. And maybe you guys knew about this. I mean,
yes, for sure. Casa Sankara is, we know it.
Yes.
Thanks, Anna.
And this is Christine's question. What do you think can change their lives, working and living conditions? And does the government, and maybe with the help of the United Nations, since the countries you mentioned share these conditions? No, you don't want me to ask that. Oh, mute.
I think she meant the European Union.
Yeah, Europe, sorry. I meant European Union too, but you know, I've been on the Zoom for 4 hours. Okay, let me start over. What do you think can change their lives, working and living conditions? And does the government, and maybe with the help of the European Union, since the countries you mentioned share these conditions, what can the European Union do or help to do to change these conditions? Correct?
Well, okay, thanks for the big question.
Big question.
Yeah, it's a big question because it needs several Zoom meeting with a lot of experts. Yeah. But anyway, as I think that also the Italian government starts to make also in the European context, not only in our context, but it's still a lot of things to do. Anyway, the first problem for me is the papers, the documents, the clandestinity, the fact that these people has no families, there's no identities behind them for our society, and for them also. There are a lot of bodies that were found into the lands, in the fields, with no identity. So now they are in some cemetery without any kind of name and surname, family name. So this is very strong. This is the problem, the name, the identity. When they will find a way to give them a status of new Italians maybe, or new Europeans, or someone that has documents, so we can start to solve the problem. And also the other face of the medals.
The other side of the coin, maybe?
Well, the other side of the coin is the opposite. As my brother said, as not only consumer, so customer of the supermarket that we bought these products, but also as citoyen, citizen. What can we do? So the educational context, the school, our children, everything can help to recognize a situation. So this is the two phases that I saw most important at in this moment.
Thank you. Gianluca, do you want to say something?
No, I agree. I mean, this fact that Massi told us the death, I mean, the bodies without names are the strongest experience that we did during the shooting and the inspection before shooting. It's something that project you in another universe, really, in another time, in another space, but it's still here and now.
So you were surprised also by how many bodies without names you had to encounter. Like, did it surprise? It was so much and so strong that it surprised even you after all your research.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
For example, we went in to make some come si dice sopralluoghi.
I know some location scouting.
Scouting, yeah. When we were to scout some location, we went to the cemetery because one of the scene is in a cemetery, no? But we visited a lot of cemetery in the region, and we found sometimes 5, 6 grave without name. And also we made this trip also with a journalist writer, and he told us this is a grave of a countryside worker that has no name because nobody recognized the body. The family are far away. They didn't even know that they are dead. This is strong because also our grandmother, when she died in the 58, she was communist, but she was also Christian. And at that time, it was a problem to be Christian and communist in the same time. Also now, sometimes, but at that time was a really big conflict in the society. And so, when she died, the family decided to make the funeral party with red flags, and the priest decided to close the door of the church. It was very strong for a Christian family to have this kind of holy recognition, holy final blessing. So
she was excommunicated.
Well, she was excommunicated for a lot of years. For a lot of years. She was strong for our. You can imagine not this, but worse than this. You don't have anything.
Thank you. I think that brings us to the end of our conversation. I want to give a few thanks. Thank you first once again to every single one of you that is here today with us and that has seen the film. It's a very difficult, those of us who have seen it and those of us who have had to see it also more than once, it's a very difficult film to watch. Like Linda said, she defined it horrifyingly beautiful. It's painful, yet at the same time, it's extremely beautiful and rewarding and thought-provoking and allowed us for this conversation today. So I want to thank you all for deciding to go on that journey with the festival and with the two directors. And I want to thank you for encouraging those that you know might need some encouragement to see such important work, to see it and to tell them that they have a chance to see it. I want to thank Gianluca and Massimiliano for the rawness, the honesty, and the reality of their films and the work that they do, and your courage and your bravery that we get to experience. So thank you so much. And we are so happy that you've been with us today.
Thanks, really, thanks.
Thank you.
A beautiful public.
Bravi,
Yes.
bravi. Come back.
Grazie
Too.
Tommaso.
We'll have you at the
Grazie a
next
tutti.
movie.
Ciao.
Thanks also
Grazie
all
mille.
the Italians in America, because I think that here you are also Italians. So thanks. We have a part of family in the States also.
Italians, a lot of Italians and Italians Americans on here. Thank you for
Yeah.
thanking us. Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Buonanotte.
everybody. Really.
Ciao a
Grazie, sì,
tutti.
buonanotte.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie a tutti.
Ciao.
Grazie.
Grazie.
Buonanotte.
We have one
Grazie,
last
Tiziana.
talk on Tuesday. We have a talk with Tiziana on Agalma on Tuesday
At 12 p.m.
at 12 p.m.
So it's
Another
a beautiful documentary by a young filmmaker. So make sure to join the
That too
conversation.
premiered at the same session of Massimiliano and Gianluca's film, Giornate degli Autori, in the Venice Film Festival. So
Exactly. And the
Yeah.
director of the museum, the Archaeological Museum of Naples, will be joining the call too. So it's going to be an interesting
very cool.
conversation. So, yeah.
Very cool.
thank you all
I look
again
forward
for
to it.
being with us throughout the festival. We really appreciate you. We will see you soon, and it's good to see you even in this format. So thank you.
And thank you, Tommaso.
Ciao.
Grazie Tommaso.
Thank you
Ciao.
for the
Grazie
opportunity.
mille.
Ciao, cari.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ciao.
Grazie mille.
Ciao.